Good afternoon, one and all. I hope that everyone is getting my screen and audio. Okay. Almost 80 students are there in the session. So actually, today's session is about practical session. So in this week only, we have started. Okay. The syllabus we have started in this week only. So almost we have to complete many points from the first chapter. So that is why we are going to conduct the lecture in place of the practical session. So when we will complete the maximum syllabus from the first chapter, so then it is possible to conduct so when we'll conduct the maximum points from the first chapter. So at that time we will conduct the practical. Okay, remember this one. So due to that, we are going to conduct the today lecture session. Okay. So before starting the today's lecture, so first of all, we'll see that what the points we have covered in the previous lecture and yesterday lecture. Okay. So yesterday we have started the first point. Okay. So that is first chapter we have started, and after that we have saw the different definitions, computer security, and again what is the network security. Okay. And again internet security. So the computer security nothing but our desktop security. Okay. And network security is that. So in the network security, the one network to other network. So whenever we are going to send the any information, so at that time that data or that information travels from one network to the other network. So at that time we are going to consider the security aspect for the network security. And the next one is that internet security. So internet security is that whenever suppose we are having the network like the MAN, WAN, okay. So at that time we are going to consider the network security from the country to country. Okay. So now we know that what is the computer security and what is network security, and again the internet security here. Okay. Now the next one is that so what is the aim of course? So the aim of course is that our focus is on internet security. Okay. So this point also we have discussed, and services, mechanisms, and attacks. So here consider the three aspects of information security. So one is the security attack and security mechanism and security service. Okay. So what is the security service and security mechanism? Okay. And again, what are the security attacks? Okay, already we have covered in the previous lecture. Now we are going to learn the next point is about the OSI security architecture here. So what is the OSI security architecture? See, in the cryptography, we are having one standard format. Suppose you are going to provide the security to the information. Whatever the information is there, for that information, we are going to provide the security. So on what basis you are going to provide the security? So something protocol we need, some reference model we need. See, like the OSI model. Okay, like that we have one a model here. So that model is called as the ITUT X.800 security architecture. So in that security architecture, all the things are already defined here. No need to apply the any extra efforts or no need to develop the any extra algorithms. All the definitions, all the algorithms, everything is implemented. Okay, just we have to learn all the algorithms and we need to apply the algorithms wherever we necessitate it. Okay, whenever we need to provide the security, so at that time we can use all these types of the algorithms here. Okay, so that is why we are going to learn the OSI security architecture. So what is the OSI security architecture here? So in that OSI security architecture, so whatever the concepts we need for providing the security here. Okay, so at all the concepts already it is defined into the OSI security architecture. So the OSI is called as the Open System Interconnect. And ITUT X.800, it is the name of that architecture. So what is the ITUT? So the ITUT is that is International Telecommunication Union. So this is one organization. So where all the documents they are going to publish it. Once they are published in the ITUT, then definitely as a user we are able to or we are allowed to access the all the models here. Okay. Now in that, in short, we can call that X.800. Okay. So what is the X.800 here? You may ask the MCQ question also. So the X.800 is nothing but your security architecture for OSI. Okay. So what it does, it defines a systematic way of defining and providing security requirements. So already I told you that. So you people don't have to apply the any extra knowledge or extra efforts. Whatever the security we need to provide, that security definitions already it is defined into the X.800 architecture here. The only our work is that we need to study that architecture and we accordingly we need to implement it. Okay. Means what are the contents of that X.800 that we are going to study in this lecture here. Okay. So it defines a systematic way of defining and providing security requirements. So what are the security requirements that also we need to study here. Okay. Now for us it provides a useful if abstract overview of concept we will study here. Abstract means the important points. Okay, in short, or you can say the important points here. What is that OSI security architecture here? Yeah. So the first of all we see that what the security services are there. Okay, what it is going to provide the security services here. So in the security services it is going to provide. So the X.800 defines it as a service provided by a protocol. Okay, you know the protocol. So the protocol is nothing but the rule. Okay, the set of rules are called as the protocols. Means a service provided by a protocol layer of communicating open systems, which ensures adequate security of the systems or of data transfers. So the X.800 service architecture, it is going to provide the system security as well as the data transfers. Okay, the security of the system. Security of the systems means it includes the a computer or the desktops which are responsible for communication purpose. Okay, so that is called as the security of the system. And the data transfers means whatever the data or the data packets we are going to transfer from the one system to the other system. That security also we are going to provide here. Okay. Now the RFC 2028. So what is the RFC 2828 here? So the RFC is that the request for communication. Okay, RFC stands for the request for communication, and the 2828 is the number for that document. Okay, this documents also it is described into the X.800. So what it suggests this document here? So the RFC 2828 defines it as a processing or communication service provided by a system to give a specific kind of protection to system resources. See what are the system resources are there. So for them, it is going to provide the specific protection here. Okay. So the X.800 defines it in 5 major categories. See whatever this architecture is there. So this architecture is divided into the different 5 major categories here. So what are those categories here? So we'll see that what are those categories. See the once again I will explain this one. So the X.800 defines it as a service provided by a protocol layer of communication open systems which ensures adequate security of the systems or of data transfers. Okay, remember this one. So the X.800 it provides the security to the our system as well as the data here. Okay, both the security we are going to consider. Now the RFC 2828 defines it as a processing or communication service provided by a system to give a specific kind of protection to system resources. Okay, and the X.800 defines it in a 5 major categories. So what are those 5 major categories? So we'll see that. See the security services of the X.800, it is going to provide the 5 major categories here. So one is the authentication, second one is the access control, third one is data confidentiality, and fourth one is the data integrity, and the last one is the non-repudiation. Now, so what is the authentication? See, whatever all these terms are there, everywhere we are going to use all these terms in throughout in this subject here. Okay, we are using the frequently authentication, we are using the access control, data confidentiality also, the data integrity also, and again the non-repudiation. So you should know that what is the meaning of all these keywords here. Okay. Now we will see the first of all what is the authentication. See the authentication is that see the every user or the every customer must be the authenticated one. Okay. So how you are going to achieve the authentication here? Now suppose just already I have given this example in the previous lecture. So suppose we need to access our college internet. So at that time we are going to provide the login ID and again the password here. So what is that? So if I am getting that login ID and password for accessing the college internet, then definitely I'm going to have the authentication here. Means you are the authorized user to access the college internet. So that process is called as the authentication here. Okay. So the sender and again the receivers are there. So before actual communication, we need to ensure that whether the proper sender is there or whether the proper receiver is there. So we need to identify that, we need to ensure that. So that process is called as the authentication. So the sender must be the proper sender and the receiver must be the proper receiver. So these are called as the authentication process here. Now suppose if I am going to receive any particular message from the sender side, then how I am going to ensure that this message is received me from a particular or a proper sender. How I am going to ensure that? So by using the only authentication process here. So the authentication is that they ensure the things whether the proper it is there or not. Okay, that process is called as the authentication. Now the access control. So the access control is that. So the name itself suggests that what is the meaning of access control. So the access control is that so the prevention of the unauthorized use of a resource. Means whatever the any resources are there, communicating resources are there. So for all these communicating resources, we need to provide the access control. So the access control is that the only authorized person or the authorized people, they can use the resource here. See, I have given one example of the smartphone. So if my own personal smartphone is there, then definitely I'm going to provide the password. I'm going to provide the pattern for locking of the smartphone here. Means I am restricting the users. If I give my mobile to the other person, that person is not able to access my mobile here. Okay, that is called as the access control here. The same like also the desktop, the computer, laptop. Now the every new laptops are there. In that new laptop, we are having the thumb scanner is there. If I use my own thumb, then definitely it is going to allow me to access the laptop. So it is not allowed for the other users. And this is called as the access control. Means I'm going to use the restrictions here. Okay, I'm going to restrict the number of users. So that is called as the access control. Now the data confidentiality. So what is the data confidentiality? Means to achieve the privacy of the database here. The data must be remain as a private. So whatever the confidential data is there, the confidential data, we need to maintain its the privacy here. Okay, that is very, very important. Now in the employees, okay, the employee salary is there. So we cannot disclose the employee salary. Okay, our bank balance, the bank balance also we cannot disclose it. Okay, this is called as the data confidentiality. The protection of data from unauthorized disclosure. Okay, that is the meaning of data confidentiality. Means we cannot disclose the confidential data here. So the data integrity. So what is the data integrity here? So the data integrity is that assurance that data received is as sent by an authorized entity. So the data integrity is that. So how I am going to ensure that whether that received data is correct or not. So as it is the data I have received, the original data, the original information I have received. With that, I am going to ensure at a receiver side here. Okay. So that process is called as the data integrity here. Okay. The meaning of the data integrity, the assurance that data received is as sent by an authorized entity. So the authorized entity means so the sender must be the authorized one, and again the receiver also the must be authorized one. Okay. Now the next point is about the non-repudiation. So what is the meaning of non-repudiation? So the non-repudiation is that the protection against denial by one of the parties in a communication. Someone is there who is don't have the any authentication, but he is going to claim that I am the authorized user. Okay, that is called as the non-repudiation. So in that way, you can remember these different 5 categories of the security services of X.800. Okay, so the first one is the authentication, second access control, third data confidentiality, fourth one is the data integrity, and the last one is the non-repudiation. So the authentication is that assurance that the communicating entity is the one claimed, and access control. So the prevention of the unauthorized use of a resource, then data confidentiality, then it is the protection of data from unauthorized disclosure, and the data integrity. So it is the assurance that data received is as sent by an authorized entity. And the last one is the non-repudiation. So the protection against denial by one of the parties in a communication. So I request you all, you please remember all these 5 categories of the security services of X.800. Now, what are the security mechanisms here? What the security mechanisms are available? So we have the specific security mechanisms and again the pervasive security mechanisms. Okay. So the different 2 types of the security mechanisms are there. So what is the specific security mechanism? And again, what is the pervasive security mechanism? That we will see here. So the specific security mechanisms, it includes the encipherment, digital signatures, access controls, data integrity, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, and again the notarization. So what is the specific security mechanisms here? So the encipherment means what here? The cryptographic techniques. Okay. So the encryption and again the decryption process we are going to use here. So the digital signatures. So in case of the digital signatures, we are going to use the algorithms, that is the DSA, digital signature algorithm, and again the DSS is there, digital signature standard. Okay. And access control. So as I told you that for access control, what we are going to use here, and the data integrity, again the authentication exchange, the traffic padding, the routing controls, and again the notarization. So all these mechanisms we are going to learn for the specific security mechanism. See, all these points we are going to learn one by one in the next points. And what is the pervasive security mechanisms here? So the pervasive security mechanisms are include trusted functionality. Means the third party they are going to include into the pervasive security mechanisms. Security labels, event detection, security audit trails. Security audit trails means what here? So the recording. So the previous behavior of a particular user. Okay, that we are going to consider security audit trails and security recovery. So all these mechanisms comes under the pervasive security. Okay. So in the specific security mechanisms, which includes encipherment, digital signatures, access controls, data integrity, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, and again the notarization. And in case of the pervasive security mechanism, it includes the trusted functionality, security labels, event detection, security audit trails, and again the security recovery. Okay. Now, what are the classified security attacks as? So as I told you that we have the different 2 types of the attacks. One is the passive attack and another one is the active attack here. So what is the passive attack here? So the passive attack is that eavesdropping on or monitoring of or transmissions to obtain message contents or monitor traffic flows. Okay. So the thing you remember here, the passive attacks are nothing but, so whatever the message is there, whatever the information is there, that information is not going to change by the hackers here. Okay. So the hacker is going to obtain that message content, or he is going to monitor the traffic flows and try to identify what is the exact information is there. Okay, that is possible into the passive attack. Means in the passive attack, there is no any chances of modifying the contents of the message. Okay. That attack is called as the passive attack. And in the active attack, so the name itself tells that what is the meaning of active attack. So the active attack includes the modification of data contents. See, whatever the message there, that message is modified by the hackers here. Okay, that type of the attack is called as the active attack. But active attack, it is having the different 4 types here. So one is the masquerade of one entity as some other. The second one is replay previous messages. modify messages in transit, and the last one is the denial of service. So the masquerade means what here? So in case of the masquerade, I am going to take the privilege of a authorized user, and I am claiming that I am an authorized user. Okay, that is called as the masquerade here. And replay previous messages. So whatever the messages I am getting as a hacker here, that all the message once again I'm going to send as it is after reading that message. Okay, that is the replay previous messages. And modify messages in transit. So whatever the messages are there, that messages the hacker is going to capture it, and accordingly that messages are modified by the hackers here, and the modified messages are sent to the receiver side. Okay, and the last one is the denial of service. So the denial of service is that for a particular or the authorized user, whatever the privileges are there, everything is captured by the hackers here, and he is going to act that I am a authorized user. That is the denial of service. Means in that way we have the different four types of the active attacks here. Two types of the passive attacks, and again the four types of the active attacks here. So the passive attacks are obtain message contents or monitor traffic flows, and the active attacks are nothing but modification of data stream to masquerade of one entity as some other, replay previous messages, modify messages in transit, and the denial of service here. You people just remember this one. What is the meaning of passive attack and what is the meaning of the active attack here? So the passive attacks are nothing but these attacks are whatever the message is there, whatever the information is there, that information is will not modify. Okay, that is called as the passive attack. And in case of the active attack, so in case of the active attack, you can just have the modification of the message. Okay, so that is why it is called as the active attack. And the example of the passive attack is that phone tapping. Okay, so as a third person, just the hacker is going to listen the communication between two people here over the phone. Okay, so the phone tapping is the one best example for the passive attack. And the active attack is that example of the active attack. Suppose there is a meeting in on urgent basis on this date and on this time. So what the hacker will do here? The hacker will change the contents of that message. He will change the time as well as the date of that meeting. So the receiver will not come to know that whether that message is correct or not. I mean, this is the one type of the active attack here. Okay. So you remember the both the things, passive attack as well as the active attack here. Okay. Now, what is the model for a network security? Okay, this is the very important. What is the model for a network security here? So just I will give the 2 minutes time here. This is a very important diagram. You just take the model for network security diagram here. So here the model for network security, just we are going to learn here. So what is the model for network security? Now here you can see this is the diagram. So this is a very, very important diagram we have for network security. Now actually what is here? So this is the network diagram is there. So the network diagram is what here? Suppose I need to send the any message from one sender side to the receiver side. So what are the possible scenario it is there? So who are the participants for sending that particular message to the receiver side? Okay. But in addition to this, I have introduced the what here? The security aspect also. I'm going to introduce the concept of the security here. So I need to provide the security to the information. So that's why it is given the name for this diagram is that model for network security. Okay. So here this diagram is divided into the different three parts here. So what are those parts here? So this is the first part. Okay. The sender side. Okay. This part is at the sender side. And whatever this part is there, this part is at the receiver side. Okay. And again, whatever this part is there, this part is the trusted third party here. So I will tell you that what is the trusted third party here. Okay. Now, the first of all, we should have the sender and again the receiver. So what is the use of the sender here, or what are the works of the sender here? So what does the sender here? The sender is going to create the message. Okay, the sender is going to create the message here. And here, the work of the recipient is that this receiver is going to receive the message here. Okay, the receiver is going to receive the message from the sender. And how that message is going to travel from the sender side to the receiver side? So using this information channel. Okay. So the use of information channel is that to transfer the message from sender side to the receiver side. Okay. And the trusted third party. So what is the use of the trusted third party here? So the trusted third party is that it is responsible for a secure communication or to distribute the secret information from sender side to the receiver side as well as the receiver side to the sender side. Okay. So what is the work of the trusted third party here? The work of the trusted third party is that to distribute the secret information from sender side to the receiver side as well as from the receiver side to the sender side here. So this is the work of the trusted third party. You just remember this, just give the attention what I am saying here. The secret information. Secret, what is the secret information? The secret information is different one. And again, whatever this message is the different one. Okay. Then what is the secret information? See, in this secret information, whatever the algorithms we are going to use for the security purpose here, see here the security related transformation is there. Here we are going to use the some information algorithms we are going to use. Okay. So what the input is required for such algorithms, that input we are going to consider as the secret information here. Whatever that algorithm is we are going to use for this security related transformation, that algorithms also becomes the secret information. Okay. So this is the difference between secret information and again this is the message. So this message there, it is going to create by the sender, and this secret information is nothing but the sender and again the receiver, they have to agree that which algorithm we should use for to provide or to protect our information. Okay, that algorithm becomes the secret information. Okay, the secret information. One example, one real-time example I can give here. Suppose we are going to provide the lock. Okay, so lock to our home. So what is that? The lock, for the lock we are having one key. If you are going to use the key to that lock, then it is going to lock it. Okay. So whatever that key is there, that keys becomes the secret information here. Okay. I got this. What is the secret information? Whatever that key is there, that key is called as the secret information. Now that whatever that key is there in the information security, that keys are also there. One we have the private key, and again another one is when we have the secret key here. That is the public key. We'll see in the next chapters we are having everything. But in this model, just you remember this one. The secret information is that the algorithms or the any keys, okay, are called as the secret information. Now suppose here the what are the works of the sender here? The sender is going to create the message here, and that message is going to have the security related transformation. Here we are going to apply some process. Okay. In this on this process, we are going to apply some process on this message here, and we are going to create the secure message here. That secure message is transferred to the receiver side through using the information channel here. Okay, so that information channel is responsible for traveling the message from the sender side to the receiver side. Now the secure message will receive at the receiver side. So the secure message is again it is going to convert into the original message by using the security related transformation here. For the security related transformation, we have the input as the secret information. That secret information we are going to exchange between the sender as well as from the receiver side here. Okay. And what is the opponent here? So the opponents are nothing but these are the hackers, unauthorized persons. Okay, are called as the opponent here. Okay. So this is our standard model for a network security here. Okay. So once again, I will explain this. What is the model for network security here? So this model is divided into the different three parts here. So one is the sender side, second one is the receiver side, and third one is the trusted third party here. So the sender is going to create the message, and he is going to apply some actions on that message, and he is going to prepare the secure message, and that secure message is transferred from the sender to the receiver side. Once that secure message will receive at the receiver side, again that receiver is going to apply the some security related transformations, then the receiver will get the original message here. Okay, so this is one standard form. It is there, the model for a network security here. Okay. Now, using this model requires us to design a suitable algorithm for the security transformation. Now we need to design the suitable algorithm. See, algorithms are many more algorithms are there. Okay, in our syllabus we are having the maximum algorithms. Just we need to study that how we are going to implement it for the security transformation. And to generate the security information. So what is the security information? This security information we are going to consider as the keys. Okay, used by the algorithm. You remember this one? Every algorithm is required the key, and that key is called as the secret information. To develop methods to distribute and share the secret information. So how we are going to distribute the keys from the sender side to the receiver side, that also we need to consider. And specify a protocol enabling the principals to use the transformation and secret information for a security service. Okay. So using this model, we requires us to design a suitable algorithm for the security transformation and generate the security information or keys used by the algorithm, and to develop methods to distribute and share the security information, and specify a protocol enabling the principals to use the transformation and security information for a security service. So this is the model for network access security. So opponents, I told you that opponents are nothing but the hackers, okay, the human, for example, cracker, softwares, viruses, worm. The worm is also one type of the viruses. Okay. So this is the information system. So here the information system, we are going to maintain the information here. And these opponents, they can have the access on this information system here. So this is the access channel is there, and this is the gatekeeper of function. Okay, the gatekeeper function allows the only authorized users on this information system here. So that the information system is going to hold the computing resources, processor, memory, input, output, data, processes, software, internal security, controls here. Okay, for the model for a network access security. So just I will provide the 2 minutes. You just take down this diagram here. So the model for network access security is that, so using this model requires us to select appropriate gatekeeper functions to identify the users. So for identify the users means what here? So we need to identify whether it's a hacker or whether it is a authorized user is there or not. Okay. So we need to identify that. For that purpose, we need to have the gatekeeper functions. Gatekeeper functions means firewalls. Okay. You can consider here the firewalls, and implement security controls to ensure only authorized users access designated information or resources. And trusted computer systems can be used to implement this model here. Okay. Now what we have studied in this point here, so we have considered a computer network, internet security, definitions, and security services, mechanisms, attacks, okay, to the X.800 standard, and models for network security here. All these points we have covered here. From the studies, we have covered the computer security, network security, and internet security. Okay. and the security attack, security mechanism, security service, the OSI security architecture, security services, and security services of X.800. Five major categories are there. One is the authentication, and second access control, data confidentiality, data integrity, and again the non-repudiation. Again the security mechanisms. So you remember the class security attacks, okay? So the passive attacks as well as the active attack. Passive attacks, we are having the two types: obtain message contents and monitor traffic flows. And active attacks are so masquerade, second replay, third modify, and the last one is the denial of service. And this is the model of network security. And this is the model for network access security. So all these points we have covered in this first PPT here. So now the next PPTs we are going to consider that. So the actual the cryptographic techniques, okay? So what is the cryptographic techniques? So the basic terminologies, what is the plain text, cipher, key, all the things we are going to consider. The two kinds of the cipher, symmetric encryption, symmetric cipher model requirements, cryptography, brute force, more definitions, scissor cipher. Okay. So everything we are going to learn into the next lecture here. All these algorithms we are going to cover into the next lecture here. Okay. Very easy points are there. Okay. Now I think the time is over. Okay. So is there any doubt or any problem in this? Just you can raise the any points or any fun. Just I am going to enable the chat window here. So in the chat window, you can share here. If you are having any doubt, any problem, the real algorithms we are going to start into the next lecture. So is there any doubt, any problem? Just you can mention in the chat room. And the one thing is that I'm going to observe here. So the many students, they are not going to use the standard naming system here with a division, roll number, and again your name. The Pranali Kote, Geeta Kaulwar, Vaishnavi Puri, Halgunki, Sanyogita. Okay, they are not using the standard format. Asapuri Radhika, they are not going to use the standard format for naming. Okay, so I request you all, please use the standard format. That is the division underscore your roll number underscore your name, first name and last name. Okay, like that it should be there. Pranali Khote and again the Geeta Kolwar, are you there? So henceforth you take care you all, and I request you all, please drop your attendance in the chat box. Your yes, your roll number and again your name. So only once you drop your roll number, don't repeat again and again.